I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. Roxy's mother, Kenya, takes us into the 40-year-old evangelist. We're going to take a deeper dive into exactly who this allegedly 40-year-old man that allegedly touched Naziah hers. But before we get started with this demonstration, let me read my copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is that everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Let me welcome my Facebook family and friends, and then I'm going to drop the link for Kenya to join me on the panel for us to take a deeper dive into who the alleged 40-year-old man that touched Naziah hers. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to my moderator. Salute to the chat. Let's see who we got in here early. Salute Kristen. Salute Petty. Naisha. Marty. Thankful. Pretty Problem Niche. Miss Parker. Positive Vibes. Red Jewel. Salute to the chat. Let me welcome my Facebook family and friends to this demonstration. And if you are watching by way of Facebook, and if you would like to participate in the live chat, please come over to the YouTube app. Please come on over to the YouTube app. All right. So I welcome my Facebook family and friends. So give me a few more minutes and we're going to jump into the demonstration. Salute, I see through you. Salute, I see through you. Hurricane. Michelle, I see you down there, Michelle. Salute. Salute to the chat. Salute everybody. Let me drop the link for Kenya. So I have two questions to ask, and hopefully, when Kenya join me on the panel, click on the StreamYard link, Kenya. I have two questions. Is this right here? Is this is it Florentino? Could this possibly be Florentino? Remember Florentino, which allegedly is Annette's son, called into 7 Miles Radio and was talking. And remember, the voice was a feminine voice. So could this evangelist had been that voice that's behind Florentino? Or is this the man that allegedly touched Naziah hers? Also, the young lady that was on Toot's platform, that victim of Jarvis, I do believe she did say that a man dressed like a woman with red hair came in the van to pick her up. So we got a lot of questions, y'all. We got a lot of questions. Appreciate that super chat, Jewel. Appreciate that super chat. Blessings. Appreciate that super chat. What are y'all thoughts after hearing my demonstration on last night? What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? I know this was new to all of us. This was something that was new to all of us. So what are y'all thoughts? How do y'all feel about this dude right here? Salute, Jana. Salute, Jana. What's y'all thoughts? Salute Erling. Salute Erling. I see through you says, if it is, he's had something done to that voice because this one voice isn't the same. All right. All right. Salute Miss Groovy. Salute Miss Groovy. Let me drop the link one more again for Kenya. Salute Michelle. Salute Natalie. And let us know where y'all repping from. Let us know where y'all repping from. Let us know the city that you were born and raised in. Let us know the city that you reside in right now. I don't trust anything from that family. Cover up. So I will be in the bushes. Shout out to all my folks from California. Shout out to all of my folks from California. I see we got Brooklyn. Is Brooklyn in the house? Shout out to Southfield, Michigan. Michigan again. I got born and raised in Mayfield, Kentucky, living in Union City, Tennessee. Shout out to all of my people from Kentucky and Tennessee. We got Miami up in here. I see you, Miami. Trenton, New Jersey. La Crosse, VA. Florida up in here, y'all. Florida. Virginia. DC, South Carolina. Jersey. Texas. Mississippi. Kentucky again. North Carolina again. Where are my Baltimore people at? Where are my Baltimore people at? California again. Louisiana. Let's see right quick. Let's see. I know what I will say. I know what I will say. I will say this. That video that I showed of Annette, you got some answering to do. If it's nothing else that we got out of that demonstration yesterday, is if it's nothing else that we learned from that demonstration that Annette was lying. And here we have my special guest. You gotta turn off your computer.
Yeah, I think I just did it.
You gotta turn off your computer.
Yeah, I think I just did it.
You gotta turn off your computer.
Yeah, I think I just did it. I'm gonna come back in.
Well, we'll wait for Kenya to come back up. She gotta adjust her sound. So we'll wait for Kenya to come back up. Salute Angelique. Shay. Kalila. Salute. Melanie. Appreciate you, Melanie. Appreciate you, Melanie. Can you hear me, Kenya?
Yeah.
All right. How you feeling?
I feel great. Yep, I can hear you.
Talk to me about this evangelist guy, Kenya.
Ooh, so that is it's echoing. That is Kenneth. And before all of this happened, I didn't like him. It's echoing, so sorry. I don't know how to get
Now
rid of
you sound good on my end. You sound good on my end.
Okay, so when I met him, I didn't like him. And before we had her Kiki, before she told him 4 months prior, I had went over there to pick that up, and when I picked her up, I got this weird feeling, and I was taking her somewhere, and I literally asked her while I was taking her. I said, "Are you sure Kenneth isn't touching on these children over here?" And she said, "No." She was like, "No, he wouldn't do anything like that. He wouldn't do anything like that." I said, "Are you sure?" So with that being said, I was like, I don't know. I just don't get a good feeling about that. And she said, "No, he wouldn't touch it. I would know." I said, "Okay." So months later, when Kiwana came over or whatever and told me what was going on with the church, that's when I was like, wow. So I was wrong because I was thinking it was him, but it turned out to be Jarvis. So with that being said, Kiki also told me some other things about him. Now, what she had told me was is that he assaulted Florentino. That's not Florentino, that's Kenneth.
All right. So stop right there for a minute. Kenya. Appreciate that super sticker, Tommy. Appreciate that super sticker. Because you kind of like echoing and breaking up a little bit. Are you on a computer or a phone? Are you on a computer or a phone?
Computer.
You on a computer? How far away from the computer are you?
Yeah, I'm right in front of it.
Okay.
I'm right in front of it.
Okay, that sounds much better. That sounds much better.
Oh, so I need to
no, don't go back too far. So stay right there and let's just see. Let me test the volume. So from the beginning, when you first met him, you had a bad vibe. And what was the bad vibe like?
he just something just was, you know how you just get a feeling about somebody like they creepy?
Right, right. And can you repeat what you said to Annette? Because you was breaking up when you spoke on what you had said to Annette about him, about you, you know, and what did Annette say when you told her about the funny feeling that you had?
I just asked her, was she sure that he wasn't touching on none of them children over there? She said,
Now, when we spoke, you did mention something about the two children that were touched, and you was believing that this evangelist guy was the one. Do you believe that he's the one that touched those two children? What two children would it be that he had touched?
That would have been Shannon's daughter and Annette's sister's daughter.
So Shannon's daughter, one of Shannon's daughter, and Annette's sister's daughter. Have anybody else in the family, have they said anything about this guy? Past, present, have they had said anything to you about him? I don't trust him either. Or what's up with this dude right here, Kenneth?
No, the family really didn't go over in that house like that. So they wouldn't have known really about him. It's not like he was able to come to our family function. But I'm gonna call that girl Kiki. This is what I call her now. Y'all know who I'm talking about. She told me that he was assaulted Florentino sexually, and Annette decided to make him her best friend, keep him around, knowing that he assaulted her. That's what Kiki told me about him.
That's what Kiki told you about Kenneth, the evangelist. That he, repeat that because you was going in and out. Repeat what Kiki said about the evangelist Kenneth.
That he assaulted Florentino.
Wow. Wow.
Sexually.
Sexually. Was anything done about
She kept him around as a friend.
after knowing that he sexually assaulted her son? Now, did you hear? Well, I'm sure you heard Mark D's, because you the one told me backtrack Mark D, Shank. When Florentino called in, was that actually Florentino? So that was Florentino.
That's his voice. Both of them are in that community.
And what community is that? The Transformers community?
Yeah, the rainbow.
What do you know about Kenneth from the religious perspective, as far as evangelists and as far as, practicing Christianity? I take that as bullshit.
Maybe trying to change his life. I don't know.
Did you hear Tootie's demonstration with the victim of Jarvis the other day? Did you hear that? Because in that, the victim told Tootie that a man dressed like a woman with red hair came to pick her up in a van. Did you hear that?
Yeah, but that wouldn't have been him though. That was like 20 years ago, I believe.
So that wouldn't have been him. So that wouldn't have been him, right?
No, Lord. Mm, 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 mm.
What's wrong with your people, Kenya?
That ain't not that one. Not that. My grandmother had 9 children, and the first 2 came out of that batch that Annette is in. We don't share the same grandmother, thank God.
Appreciate that super sticker, Yvette C. Appreciate that super sticker, Yvette C. Since last night, has any family members of yours reached out to you about this evangelist guy? No.
All of my family, a lot of my family members are not as brave as some of them. A lot of them don't want to be involved in something like this because, you know, uh, I ain't mad at them. I speak up about it. I don't care about how nobody feel about it or how they look. I don't give. Um, but this is what it is, and if this is going to change other families, let's do it.
Has Roxy spoke out? Has Roxy said anything to you about this guy, Kenneth?
She don't know who he is.
She don't know who he is. Can I get everybody to give Diane a warm welcome? Can I get everybody to give Diane a warm welcome? And shout out to everybody that's in California. This evangelist guy, it took me by surprise when it was brought to my attention. And then I started, doing my research on him, and I seen the videos of Naziah on his page. There's pictures of Naziah, Miss Annette on his page. And I was wondering, like, what's really good with this guy? And I haven't heard nobody on social media, nobody mention anything about, this evangelist guy. So could it be, in your opinion, could it be that he played a part in Naziah's disappearance as well as unaliving? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I can't say anything on that. I was really because I didn't know, I don't want to drag people down or bring innocent people into anything. So that's why I mentioned his name when I was talking about the person that I had about originally. That's who I was talking about. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can't forecast any bad information because I don't know him like that. But I know who he is.
I'm trying to figure out why you keep going in and out. Do you have any social media tabs open on your computer? Look and see, is it any tabs open on your computer besides this one right here?
Oh yeah.
Look, we'll wait for her to come back up. We'll wait for her to come back up. Well, one thing that we learned, that one of the children said that the evangelist sexually assaulted Florentino, and Miss Annette didn't do nothing about it.
Okay, is that better?
That's much better. Slide over some.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So far we got that one of the children reported to Annette that the evangelist guy sexually assaulted Florentino, and Miss Annette didn't do nothing. That's correct?
Oh, Florentino was of age anyway, so that would have been up to Florentino to, do something about that. But that's what Kiki told me about that person, Kenneth. So he's been around for quite some time. I think I first met him when Florentino was probably about 19. Yeah, that's when Florentino called himself coming out and let me know that he was in the rainbow community. which I already knew that when he was a little boy. He just had that voice when he was a little boy. So, you
Do
know,
do you know whether or not he was at that birthday party when
I, I wasn't at the birthday party,
he wasn't there?
so I wasn't there. I know nothing of the birthday party besides what I was told by Kiki. So I don't know
And
who was there, who wasn't there. I don't know.
and by you not really being around, you really don't know. You really don't know.
Yeah, not like that. No, no, mm-mm, no.
Will you be reaching out to Miss Annette or Shannon and them to question them about this evangelist guy?
Right now we're not communicating. I haven't communicated with them since it was confirmed that something was going on over there at the house. Um, I don't know, if I would want to even communicate with them any further. We have a child that has been unalive because of them, so I don't, we're related, but I don't want to be related.
Right, right. You're just interested in the justice for Naziah.
Absolutely. Yeah, everybody deserves to get the cuffs on, you know.
Will you be attending Jarvis's trial?
Hopefully some days, not all days. I work, I drive a truck, so I'm pretty busy. I have bills to pay.
Right.
But the number one person will be there is my daughter. So
Now with them saying that the state has 40 new witnesses. Any idea on whom those witnesses may be?
I think some of the people I think some of the people are coming from the hotel where things transpired at. One of the I'm going to say that a lot of people from over there spoke with some of the people that my daughter was over there with, and was probably came forward about some things that they saw and some things that they know that was seen with Shannon being over there with Jarvis with Naziah. So it's probably going to be some of them people.
The defense has 10 witnesses. Any idea who might would come to be
To
a
this
witness
defense,
with
right? This defense, hmm, that'll be interesting. I hope I'll be there on that day because I want to see who's coming to his defense of anything.
could Miss Annette be a witness on Jarvis's behalf?
Hmm. I hope not. I hope not. I don't know, but I hope not.
And the reason why I asked that is because after watching after watching that birthday celebration, now according to Miss Annette, Jarvis doesn't comes in the house. Jarvis stays outside. Now, if you've seen that video, and if not, I'll play it for you so you can see it. We clearly saw Jarvis in the house. And not only did we see Jarvis in the house, we saw Miss Annette approach Jarvis and make mention to him about in and out. You can't be doing this in and out thing. And then she said, you know, you got to start acting like you're a part of the family.
Hmm. I watched the video and I heard that part. I didn't completely watch it all the way through, but he's in videos when Naziah's dancing. So he's in videos with Naziah dancing. So, you know, we all know that was a lie, saying that he wasn't in the house. So, and then that's a big video right there to see that he's in the house and she's communicating with him. And ironically, that's probably the birthday party where the two children was touched because I saw my cousin's daughter.
And
So
what daughter was that?
I'm not going to identify her.
Okay. Okay.
You know, because my cousin, she's disconnected, so she don't want people identifying her daughter and bringing her daughter down and all this garbage. So that's the birthday party.
Now the text messages. Many, include myself, believe that that's Shannon sending some of the text messages, but could it been Miss Annette sending Jarvis some of those text messages?
Well, they did say that Annette, they did say that they was looking for the phone. Something about that Naziah's phone was pinging from the house, from Annette's house. And so when they went to the house and asked where that phone was at, Annette then said that she was the one that was turning it on and off. So
Mm. Let's switch lanes just a little bit to Lady. How well can you say that you know Lady, Naziah's mother? And if y'all hear me say Zanaya, or I apologize, but how well do you know Lady, Naziah's mother?
I know Lady, she's my cousin. She's Annette's daughter. So she's too young for me to hang around. But she get herself together. She make a lot of money. She can put a house together. The girl is bad. You know, just it's just unfortunate. I didn't even know those things had happened to her until Kiki told me. Because I had always said something's happened to make her be the way that she is. I never knew it was that. So now I understand why she is why she's messed up. I would be too.
Now, was she 11 years old, pregnant in a crack house?
No. And that part, I didn't know about that part either, but supposedly that was supposed to have been Annette, not Lady. Lady was an adult when she had children. She was not underage. But that was supposed to have been Annette. That's what Janelle said about Annette. I didn't know nothing about that until I heard about it. Um, yeah, that's something to hear. I've never heard that ever until Janelle said that about Annette.
Now, when you mentioned you didn't know the certain things about Lady, can you be specific
Like, what do you mean?
as far as, let's say, a choice of drugs, or uh, what kind of behavior was she displaying to make you feel that she could have been or turned out better than what she did?
Honestly, I didn't even know Lady was addicted to anything until maybe after Naziah was born. So like the way she is right now, when I did see her, it was shocking because Lady is very, very pretty. And to see her look the way she looked is shocking. So she didn't display that she had that she was addicted to anything or not, because she's even come to my other house that I used to own and painted it, and it was like wow, to see that she had done it so well. I never knew that she was addicted to anything until recently seeing her addicted. Now I've heard that she would pop a pill here and there, but as far as the way she is right now, she's gone.
What
Yeah.
what drugs would you say she's addicted to?
Oh, I don't know. I don't. That ain't my field. I don't know. I don't know.
Is it true that Lady's hotel room, or the hotel that Lady was staying at, same hotel that Jarvis took Naziah to?
That's what I heard, but I mean that's coming through TikTok too. So TikTok is saying a lot of stuff that is not true. So I heard that through TikTok, honestly, and I don't know. I don't know where Lady stay at, and from what I heard, she stays somewhere else, but I can't confirm none of that stuff. I don't keep up with Lady like that. If I need to find her, I probably can, but
How much of the information that's on TikTok, how much of it is true? How much would you say is true?
40%.
40%?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I would go on people's lives and try to correct them and let them know you're spreading false information.
Right.
But people want to say what they want to say. People want to have false information, false opinions, false thoughts, throw extras in there, twist people words. So, the TikTokers, like I would tell them, like, you guys are a whole year behind what we've already done, what we've already discovered, so 40%. They TikTokers are at the end of it. That's why I said if you want to really start, you need to start from the beginning.
Right.
And that's on Mark D's 7 Mile Radio. You need to start from there. And then and a lot of the stuff from YouTube got deleted because Roxy had to delete it. So
you would say that the only reason why you really pull up on panels and interact on social media is to kind of clear up the false narratives and the lies that's out there about the Naziah Harris case.
absolutely, that's my little cousin y'all talking about. That's my family member y'all talking about. Yeah, yeah. Because if don't nobody say nothing, y'all gonna keep on going with the false stuff.
Take us back. Take us back. And I'm not sure if you've already answered this, but it just keeps coming out. Take us back to Jarvis's relationship with Shannon, Marquita, and Miss Annette. Who was the first one out of those three? Who was the first one to be sexually involved with Jarvis?
Oh, so from what I understand, again, from what I understand, he met Marquita first. Now, if they were sexual, I don't know about that. Right? I cannot confirm that because I wasn't in that space. He met Marquita first, and from what I understand, Marquita said that she don't like light skinned men. So I guess he moved on to Shannon at that point, and apparently they clicked. And Kiki told me allegedly that Shannon had came to the house or something like that, and he was in the room with Annette, and the door was locked.
Right. And
I'm
and
not
that's
gonna,
all.
I'm not gonna be in the room with my daughter's man. Period. He's not gonna be in my bedroom at all, and the door's not gonna be closed at all. That is no place where he should have ever been.
Now you knowing Annette, you knowing her get down, and you just said it was inappropriate. Do you believe? Do you believe that something sexual was going on that day with Jarvis and Annette? I guess we got to read between the lines with that, huh?
Hey, I wasn't there. The door was closed, and I heard it was locked.
Hmm.
So I can't confirm it, but that's what I was told by Kiki. Kiki is the one you need to get on the show, but she's got a slight mental problem, so she might go blabbing off on some other BS that don't make sense. But okay.
Is it any way that you could line it up?
Nope, hell no, no, no. Mm-mm.
Is it any way somebody else can line it up?
We don't mess with her.
Y'all mess with her?
She done messed that line of communication completely up.
How did Shannon respond to Annette after she come home and the door was locked? Was it a physical altercation between her and Annette?
Oh no, Shannon be dead. I'm sure that didn't happen. Yeah, I'm sure Shannon would never disrespect her mother. No. The person you need to ask is Kiki. She knows more about what goes on in everybody's household but her.
Kiki. I know you in my bushes. And if you ain't in my bushes, Kiki, I know you catching this on the replay. Holla
Mm-hmm.
at me on Instagram. Shank Rock. I need to get you on the show. Kiki, holla at me on Instagram. Shank Rock. Now, you pointed me to Mark D, right?
Mm-hmm.
7 Miles Radio. You wanted me to do my homework on the 40-year CPS investigation, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Take me from the beginning. Why did CPS first get involved with Annette?
Oh, see, you need to talk to Janelle about all of that because
Come
Janelle.
on. Come on. I can't let you off the hook on this one now. And I'm going to tell you why I can't let you off the hook on this one. Because your ass is the one that sent me to Mark D's 40-year CPS. So I ain't buying that. I can't let you off the hook on this one.
Right.
I want to know.
But
Why?
Janelle is the one that contacted Mark D and told him all of that stuff. I had the slightest clue about any of that.
Stop
That's
it,
why
Kenya.
I told you I grew up partly in California. So all that CPS stuff with her, with Annette, I never knew nothing about none of that shit. And it's not like the family talk or nothing. What the things that I found out about relatives of mine is because I was either being nosy or it was like something ain't right. I need to ask some questions, or just found out on the humbug, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't know none of that stuff was going on with Annette. Now I understand her distance from everybody. Now I understand her distance because I couldn't understand why she wanted to be so distant and not connect with the family and all kind of stuff. She would just say some stuff I couldn't understand, but now I understand. I understand now. But that is a Janelle question. You need to get Janelle on here. She's the one. I mean, because she knows so much about Annette and CPS and all that stuff. That's the person you need to talk to about that.
Janelle, if you're in my bushes or if you're catching this on the replay game, holla at me, Janelle. I need to get you on the show. Now, mental illness. I want
Mm,
to talk about mental illness.
mm.
Do you believe or has any of them been diagnosed with a mental disorder? To
Mm-mm.
your knowledge?
None of them, but clearly they got one. Clearly they got one. So, um, I don't know what to say, but clearly I mean, I wouldn't even know if it's really mental illness or dumbness
Mm, mm.
or stupidity. You know what I mean? Because to say it's mental illness that they didn't report or they didn't do nothing about it, I don't know if that's mental illness. I don't know if you can call that mental illness. I could say that to me, that's stupidity. That's ignorance. So, but some women are so desperate to have a man in their life and to get attention from a man, those things happen. And I remember when Facebook first came out, there was a video going around, and this little girl had to be about 4 or 5 years old, and the man had his penis out, and the girl walked by and said, "My baby gonna know how to give some fellatio," but she didn't say it in that manner, and I couldn't believe it, and it was all on Facebook, and the little girl went just like that on his penis.
Mm,
Sure did, and we was all trying to find her.
mm.
So again, that's called passing it down and passing it down. Now that part is mental.
What can you tell me about King? I feel like King played a part in this. I feel like King is just as guilty as Jarvis. What can you tell me about King?
I don't know King, never met him. Only time of known of him was court. That was my first time seeing him, knowing him. So I don't know Jarvis, none of his people. That's who y'all need to be digging into family, his family, not mine. Well, not me and my daughter. That's who y'all need to be digging into. Y'all need to find the lady that S.A. Jarvis and had a child by him and see why she didn't get pressed with no charges. I mean, clearly S.A. don't have no time frame on it. I mean, look at Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. So maybe we need to track her down because she created this monster. Need to find out who she is and get her. That's what y'all need to do. Instead of talking about me and mine.
Do you know much about Jarvis's sister?
I don't know nothing. I don't know Jarvis. I don't know none of his people. None of that. Sure don't. Don't know none of them. Not one of them.
Do you think that Miss Annette and them belong to some kind of cult, a religious cult?
I don't know about a religious cult. I don't know about a cult at all, but some things are questionable as far as not protecting children. You got to wonder if it's bigger than Naziah. You got to wonder if it's bigger than Naziah.
What are your thoughts? Is it bigger than Naziah? Is it bigger than Jarvis?
I mean, it's got to be. It's got to be. When my daughter had a team go over there to that hotel, one of the men commented and said, "Oh, y'all too old."
Run that by me again. Who said that y'all were too old?
One of the men at that Trafficking Inn hotel. It was quite a few of them that went over there, and he looked and he said, "Oh, y'all too old."
Wow.
So apparently, it's known for having young girls over there at that hotel. And then listening to that story with Tootie, I love Tootie. She's great, but what she does. Listening to that story with that young girl, that was probably the beginning. He was just getting started then. And it's scary to even think about her saying with the pow and everything. You gotta wonder, has he did this before with other little girls and they disappeared?
Right.
Maybe this isn't his first little girl that he's done this to.
Right.
And one of the videos, when my daughter was out searching, one of the videos, her and Mark D was out searching over there at the park. And she walked up to my daughter and was telling my daughter that she knew Jarvis and that he grew up in that neighborhood and he knows that area like the back of his hand because he grew up in the area, so Naziah could be over there anywhere.
Let's stay with Jarvis. How was Jarvis able to have an effect on all of these women? Was it manipulation? Was it desperate, low self-esteem on the women's parts? How was Jarvis able?
You know what? I'm not one to degrade another woman on their looks or any of that. A woman is a woman to me. Don't matter how you look or how God made you. You're a woman. You understand what I'm saying? So if you want to be honest, me as a woman, Jarvis is not ugly. Jarvis is a nice looking guy. He really is. So, and he got pretty hair, pretty skin. He tall, he's slim. He's a nice looking guy.
Stay right there. Would you date Jarvis? Be
Well, you
honest.
can't ask me that because he ain't my type.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but he's not an ugly guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not hard on the eyes. Let's put it that way. You know what I'm saying? So that gave him access alone. You know what I'm saying? The women, the way they look and all that stuff, that ain't got nothing to do with it. A woman is a woman. Woman is a woman. He's just easy on the eyes.
And allegedly, Marquita was first in line for Jarvis, but according to Marquita, he wasn't her type.
Yeah, that's what I heard from Kiki. So he met her first.
And you said that he ain't your type, so wouldn't have been nothing that you would have been involved in.
Right.
I'm just trying to piece everything together because now we're finding out, well, we are believing that this is bigger than Jarvis. This is bigger than Naziah. You know, this could possibly be some kind of sex trafficking ring. Do you think that it's in other cities and states besides Detroit and Ohio, Michigan? Do you think it may be going on in other cities and states that this is connected to?
Well, of course they do. They do roundups. They just did a roundup in I forgot where it was at, but yeah, they do big ones. When they do them big, and they catch quite a few people. Michigan is one of the states for it. That's for sure. We're right by Canada. It's unfortunate, but this child stuff is terrible, and it's a lot of people into it, and it's a lot of. I'm not trying to say nothing bad about foreigners, but foreigners really are bad with it because they marry little girls and all that stuff. So, and them foreigners really be paying too.
Yeah, and they get them young.
Yeah,
I mean, they get them young.
they sure do.
Now on Florentino's calling, he mentioned to me he was way off. He was way off. He said that Annette called the Detroit Police Department that same day. I believe it was 4:20 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
False or true? Is that true or false?
That's false. He was more upset because myself and Roxy was talking about his mammy.
Okay.
You know? So
his beef is with you and Roxy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were on there talking about his mammy and how she didn't protect Naziah and how she didn't do nothing, and that was his rant, his clapback. Well, I know he's eating those words. I know he ate them and shit them out and ate them again.
Was you and Florentino ever cool, like relationship as far as family wise? Were y'all ever on good terms or bad terms?
Yeah, that was my little cousin. Yeah, that was my little cousin. You know what I'm saying? He was all right with me. You know, even when he called himself coming out to me and letting me know what I already knew, you know, he was still all right with me. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
So let's come back to the evangelist.
Mm-hmm.
Why so many different disguises?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think this guy has so many different disguises?
Jesus. Oh Lord, he trying to find himself. How many more you got?
It's a whole rack of them.
Good God.
It's literally a good 50.
And he is a big guy. He should have been playing. He should have been a football player. That's how big he is.
Yes. Is he a photographer? that you may know of?
You said, is he a photographer?
Yes.
I don't know what the man do.
Come on, Kenya. Come on, you got to give me something.
I know the man sleep on his knees. He can't lay in the bed. He sleep on his knees. That's all I know.
Why is that?
With his ass in the air.
Wow.
I ain't lying. I came into that house and he was asleep like that one day, and he was bent over on the couch. And
Are you serious?
yeah, I couldn't understand. He said that's how you got to sleep.
What was the energy when you came in? Was he the only one in there? What? Talk to me. What was the energy?
He's never really kind of conversated with me. I guess because I would just look at him like, you nasty. You know what I'm saying? You nasty. So maybe he just felt I never liked him. You know, I never liked him. I never liked him. He wasn't a likable person to me. He's just weird. He's just weird. He just had that weird vibe. Like something ain't right. You know, I never knew that he assaulted Florentino, none of that until Kiki told me. And I'm glad she didn't tell me, because had I known that, I probably would have dug off into him. Yeah. He's a big guy. Nasty.
Big guy, nasty, likes to sleep with his butt cheeks up in the air.
On his knees.
On his knees. Your first impression of him, you ain't like him.
Sure didn't.
Did you get that same impression about Jarvis when you first met Jarvis?
I didn't even conversate with Jarvis. Jarvis was a with his head down.
In and out.
Yeah.
Was Jarvis's butt cheeks ever up in the air?
No, I didn't see that. But somebody did send me a message. And the message was him, and he was on Snapchat or something like that, and was saying that he needed to be dug off in by a big yeah. Yeah. So he might take it both ways, and he might be all right with where he's about to go, because he's already used to it, maybe. But yeah, and it was his picture too.
Did they assault Jarvis while he's locked up? Do you know whether or not? Why he wear the mask is what I want to know.
Well, now, you know, if he gets hurt in there, he can get money. Right. So, but when he came out, he was limping, and he sat down real slow. So if somebody did get a hold to him, I heard that mouth got cracked.
Was their shop a prostitution ring? That car shop?
I don't know about that. Actually, I had planned on riding over there today and got a little too busy because there's something I want to see that I had a dream about. I don't know about that, but it's kind of scary. Make you wonder. Was he not the only man that was there? Because all they got to do is ping their phones and connect his phones to other people's phones and see if they was around in that area. You know, since that was supposed to be in a car shop, you know, that's how they track him down, I believe, probably.
Well, I'm gonna still ask it, but I was going to include you in on it. But with the girls, I believe working up at that shop, what was it, $20 or $25, being paid $25? Was that the case?
My girls would have never been there. I don't know how you let girls go be in a shop with men. So I can't wrap my head around how that was okay at any point in time. Now it'd have been different if Shannon was there with them or Annette was there with them and took them up there and stayed there while they was cleaning up the shop. But they all knew he was a pedo. They knew that. Shannon knew that. And you let girls go to a shop with him? Like, who does that?
Now let me ask you this. Some might say that you and Roxy, as well as Janelle and Kiwana, knew. Now, Kiwana and Janelle did report it, but some might say, why didn't you and Roxy report it, knowing what was going on?
First off, let me clear this up right now. So people are saying, oh, Roxy was here. Roxy was here. You're damn right. She sure was here. But the part that y'all are missing is that Naziah wasn't missing when Roxy was here. Mm. Naziah came up missing when my daughter left. Mm. So what was she supposed to be searching for and helping for? That's the part everybody missing. Yeah, she sure was here. She sure was here before New Year's. And then she flew back out because she had to sign her paperwork for the house that they were buying here. So why would she be searching for Naziah and Naziah wasn't missing yet? My daughter left here on the 2nd. Naziah came up missing on the 9th. Why would she be searching or looking or helping to do anything with Naziah? Ding, ding, ding. So she was here. She sure was. She was bringing the new year in. She sure was. But she left on the 2nd. Naziah came up missing on the 9th. Now I hope y'all clear. I hope I cleared that up for you. Now, as far as me and Roxy knowing about anything that happened, we didn't know. Right? Kiwana didn't even scratch Kiwana. Kiki brought that stuff to me. I started doing that stuff a day and a year before Naziah even came up missing. Now, how far deep it was, I didn't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? Kiki didn't tell me nothing about all that other stuff. I didn't know nothing about all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? She only told me about the 2 little girls and what had happened at the birthday party. That's all I knew. You know? Had she went more in depth about the other stuff, I'd have been like, wow. It would have been so easy for me to go over there to Annette's house and grab a hold of Naziah. And then I would have known what questions to ask Naziah because Naziah knew who I was. You understand? Annette wouldn't have never knew that I was coming over there to grab a hold of Naziah. That would have been so easy to do had Kiki told me, well, Naziah is a part of that too, but she didn't. So that's why I was able to call one girl, which was Annette's sister's daughter, and talk to her. I knew I wasn't going to be able to speak to Shannon's daughter. I knew that wasn't going to happen. But let me get confirmation before I go off on about this stuff. And that's when I got my confirmation from Annette's sister's daughter that she told me. She said, yeah, this happened. But she didn't mention that anything had happened to Naziah neither. She just said it was her and Shannon's daughter. So how can I go in on something that I don't know about? Because I would never think that Annette would let that happen to her granddaughter, right? Because she stays with Annette. I can't do something about nothing I don't know about. Kiki has a mental problem. She lies. She lies. And if it sounds good, she's going to put it out there. She's grabbing all the attention that she needs. And people are giving it to her. And this Mimi girl, she's a mental problem. This Mimi girl don't know nothing. She's a nobody. She's out for attention. The Mimi girl is really bad.
Wow. Can you talk to me? Can you talk to us about a church allegedly, I gotta say allegedly, that Miss Annette was kicked out of? Do you know anything about this church that Miss Annette was allegedly kicked out of?
Yeah. I did a catering for them at that church, and it was a nice little church or whatever, small crowd or whatever. Met the pastor, met his wife, and all that stuff. They seemed like real nice people. I did the catering for them. And then when Kiki had told me about what was going on or whatever, I was like, really? I said, oh, let me go up there to our church. She was like, you don't need, why are you going to do that? I said, because our church needs to know. And that's when Kiki told me that she was sleeping with the pastor.
Damn.
I said, oh, well, that ain't going to do no good. She's sleeping with the pastor.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about Gamble.
This is going to go.
You know what I mean? Talk to me. Talk to me about Gamble.
Eric Gamble. Eric Gamble is Annette's brother. He did not impregnate her. She has no children with her brother.
Where did the people get that from?
I don't know. It's like I said, TikTokers say all kind of things. But he is not the father of her oldest child. Okay. Um, he does have a case. Now, like I told everybody else, yes, the video does look bad. It does look bad. It's the wrong timing. Like, god damn. But the case that Eric had against him was with a Becky. Okay. And we all know if Becky say the grass is blue, it's blue, not green, right? So somebody hit you in the head with a sledgehammer. Um, you probably gonna be messed up for the rest of your damn life. I mean, a hammer is bad. A sledgehammer. And then the other stuff, right? That supposedly happened. So when my cousin was released, I spoke to him. I said, hey, I said, how the hell you get in that kind of a situation? And he told me how he got in that situation. It was a fight. They were dating. They were messing around. And then she felt like she wanted to jump on him and she got her ass whooped. And Eric is one of them kind of guys. He'll whoop your ass. And she got whooped and she decided to throw extra stuff in there. And well, if you know about that state, it's easy to lie on somebody and say they did something, and you're gonna go to jail for it if you're the wrong color. We've seen numerous times, heard about numerous times. These women, that's the first thing they cry about. Oh, he raped me, and didn't. So now the video with Naziah, does it look bad? Hell yeah, it look bad. I agree, it does. And just to put all that together and everything that's happened to Naziah, yes, the video looks bad. But coming from my heart, my cousin didn't do nothing to Naziah. He liked women.
What's you and his relationship? Are y'all on speaking terms right now? Are y'all on speaking terms?
Well, since the video broke, I've been trying to contact him. I've sent a message through somebody else to tell him to call me, but for some reason he ain't reached out yet. Maybe because he's mad because of the things that I've said about his sister. I don't know. Fuck it, I don't care. But I haven't been able to contact him since this story has been out here about Naziah.
So a lot of skeletons in the family's closet.
In their closet.
None in yours?
Hell no.
So No family member hit my panel and say that's Shank Rock. Let me tell you about her black ass.
Just hit me up and let me know when you get them on. That's all you gotta do. Except for Kiki lying ass. Because you're not gonna have no show. You're gonna have a screaming match, and then I'm gonna be out in my car trying to locate her. Anything else, sir?
Will they ever, let's focus on Naziah. Will they ever, in your opinion, will they ever find the remains of Naziah?
The only way we're gonna find Naziah is if he give up that information. We hope he do. We hope that he realizes that nothing he does is going to save him, because it's just what it is. He's not going to ever get out. We just hope that he has enough heart that he'll tell us if we're going to be able to recover her. To put her at rest, because she deserved that much, because she didn't deserve what happened to her, but she definitely deserves to be located if that's possible. My biggest fear is that she's in the landfill. That's my fear, that she's in the landfill, which everybody knows that would be totally unrecoverable. We hope that that's not where she's at. But if she is, at least we will know that's where she's at. But we hope that's not where she's at. We hope that she's in Rouge Park and we can recover her. So she's not the first one. She's not going to be the last, as we see. But more and more people are coming out telling their stories, and I thank God for that, because they're releasing their own self from the hold that it has on them.
Who was it that made that comment? With so much going on, I forget. Somebody made the comment about what you just said. She ain't. Well, I believe they was going to. Somebody help me out in the chat about. Somebody reported it. I believe they got involved because something about Naziah won't be the last. I can't remember the exact phrase, words, or question. Can anybody in the chat help me out with who was it that made reference to Naziah won't be the last?
I mean, she won't. She won't.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Because we have women out here that would prefer to have a man around, and that feel like they need a man to accommodate them. You got women out here that's giving up their children to men. There's a God, what is her name? There's a woman on Tik Tok now talking about how her auntie's husband messed with her, and she's wee, and no one in her family believed her and told her to be quiet about it, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, Janelle, that's right. Janelle mentioned on Mark D that she knew Naziah wouldn't be the last.
Oh, Janelle said that.
Yes, yes. She said that on Mark D's that she knew Naziah wouldn't be the last.
Yeah,
Now,
that's what.
and then I'm gonna let you go. But this is something that I'm going to say while you're on the panel, and I'm going to say this because for me being a man, you know, the cat fights between the women, I don't get involved. I'm always looking at the justice for the victim. So I'm just going to say this to you, and it could go in one ear and out the other ear. If you could find it, if you could find it in your heart and in your soul to move past the cat fight that you and the family members got going on, I had to say that. I had to say that.
What
Okay.
family? Which one you talking about?
All right. Get and I don't want to add fuel to the fire, but give me a good reason. Give me a good reason. If it's justice for Naziah hers, right? If it's justice for Naziah hers, give me a good reason why you can't get past the issue with Janelle and Kiwan.
Number one with Janelle, I expected her to be better. Janelle is of education. She's got degrees behind her, and she went along with what Kiwana was saying, and she knew damn well Kiwana was on that panel lying. You understand what I'm saying? And then not only that, she lied. She said a couple of things that wasn't true. It was like, oh, they coercing. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't have tolerance for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them people. If you right, you're right. You're wrong, you're wrong. If you're wrong, I'm gonna let you know you're wrong. I don't care about nothing else, whether we gonna stick together or not. But I'm not gonna bag you up and you're lying. That's what I'm not gonna do. So I didn't expect that from Janelle. I expected more from her to keep Kiwana in check, and she didn't do that. She just went along with the story and added her own shit in there too, right? Kiwana got problems. I know she got problems. You understand what I'm saying? I've had conversations with her, try to redirect her, try to get her to understand to the point to where I do know that she got problems. You understand what I'm saying? Her problems is way beyond us conversating. And then just listening to her going on that chick page and saying the things that she was saying and giving up my daughter's address and telling her about her being married to a woman and all that stuff that has nothing to do with Naziah. Now, I can go on about her, but I'm not, because I got more respect for myself than I do for her. So she severed that line of communication. And then every time I look at a video, I just want to punch the screen. If you're going to tell some stuff, make sure you're being truthful about it. Don't sit up here and say things that you feel like people want to hear that's not truthful. Because I will never get over it. This is something I will not get over it with her unless I can just choke her out on the grass. And that's how I feel about it. I'm going to choke her out, bring her back, and then kick her in her head. And then she can get the fuck on. Oops, excuse my French. I'm getting mad. No. I can't deal with people like that. I don't have the patience for it. Because she said a lot of stuff that was not necessary. So no, we're not going to get over that hump as a family. We're not. Janelle is not related to me. Kiki is. Her grandmother and my mother are half sisters. But her mother and Annette's mother are full-blooded sisters. So, she's not my kind of folk no more. I would never deal with her again.
Any last words before we get out of here?
Appreciate you. Trying to keep to the facts and keeping Naziah's name out there, and hopefully everybody that's on your panel has signed the petition and understand how important it is that we need to change these laws, against people like this, against people like Jarvis, against people like Annette and Shannon that allowed this kind of thing to happen, against anybody that allows it to happen to a child, because a child is innocent, boy, girl, whatever. They're innocent. They have a right to be free from anything of this nature until they so choose to be in that kind of a nature. We got to change this. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right to protect a man or a woman. And like I said, we need to hunt down the woman that did it to Jarvis. We need to hunt her down because she started this mess. Maybe, maybe not, but she's a part of the mess that she started with him. And we need to hunt her down. We need to find out who she is.
That's what we need to hunt down?
Yeah.
Who is she?
Of him.
Who is she?
From what I understand, it was his mother's friend. So his mama know. They know who she is. We need to hunt her down. We need to find out who she is. We want to know why she didn't get pressed, no charges on. And she did this to a 13-year-old boy and had a baby by him.
Appreciate that super chat. I see through you. I see through you says, how can you say she lied and not say what she lied about?
She lied about quite a few things. I'm not going to go into detail about what she lied about. She's my cousin, so I know what she lied about. She lied about a whole lot of stuff. I'm not going to go into detail about everything she lied about. For what? She lied.
Well, maybe that's what the next demonstration is going to be about, going after the woman that molested Jarvis Butts.
Yeah, I need to dig off into his family. Because maybe it's more than what we know.
And I know I said last question, but where was Aunt? Well, I'm sure he was. Is it anything you could tell us about his family? Anything? Nothing.
I know his sister was real emotional, the one that went on the stand or whatever, and she was, I think she couldn't believe that he had even did what he did. So, I believe his sister didn't know, so, you don't know till you know, and then you be like, oh my God. And that's pretty much how she was. That's how I took it anyway, that she was very genuine. But yeah, that's what family y'all need to dig off into his.
Well, Kenya, once again, I appreciate you for pulling up. Salute. And until next time, when I get the rest of the family up here so they could give me some dirt on you, so they could bring some skeletons out the closet on you. All right?
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right.
Appreciate you. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Ms. Parker says she's getting ready to go live at 6:15. Do your thing, Ms. Parker. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to all of my moderators. Salute to the chat. Let me take a few questions, few answers, then we're going to get out of here. Kimberly says, ma'am, go on. Shout out to my Facebook family and friends. Michelle says, you guys are so nonchalant about this whole ordeal, and it's sad that you guys can only think about yourself. Top Flight says, no, we on yours. Salute, Markel. Tyler says, this family is so weird. Connie says, I heard one of Jarvis' victim from 20 years ago speak on another channel today. Yes, that was on Tootie's Uncensored. So if you haven't heard Jarvis's victim from 20 years ago, make sure y'all go and check out Tootie's Uncensored. She does have a victim of Jarvis from 20 years ago. Salute, Nick. Rashida says, they're all pointing the fingers at each other. Gemini says, y'all don't know, but y'all been making a lot of money off her name, but y'all barely say her name. Facebook family says, Michelle Fleming, I agree, for real. Ma says, didn't this young man say his mom messed with Jarvis at a young age? Yes, yes. Miss B says, Shank, you've got the patience of a saint dealing with that painful guest. Appreciate you, Miss B. Appreciate you, Miss B. Street T says, she just came up here to be seen. Parker says, Miss B, I swear. Brown D Girl says, if she wanted to come back on my show, I will reject. At this point, I would just cussing her out and kick her off my show. Top Flight says, Rashida, exactly, but never talked about herself and Art Gamble. Stephanie says, I'm sorry, but that whole family is weird. Poor Naziah. Gemini says, yes, Shank has a great deal of patience to deal with this used up teabag. Sweet T. Ms. Parker says, Sweet T 100. Marty says, Shank, there is one spot left on the Airbnb if anyone is interested. If anyone is interested in attending this year's Rock Squad's 3rd annual meet and greet, it will be in Charlotte, North Carolina, October the 23rd through October the 27th. There's one spot left in the Airbnb. Please see Marty. Please see Marty. Salute, Valerie. How can she say that? Because where was Annette and her and Art were together? All right. So, once again, I appreciate everybody for pulling up. There's Marty's Instagram. If anybody is interested in that meet and greet last spot Airbnb. And even if you're not interested in staying at the Airbnb, and if you still would like to come, please see Marty. Marty has all of the information. And if you have a shirt, that you would like to purchase, please see Miss Parker. Shout out to all of the content creators that's covering this Naziah Harris case. Make sure y'all check out Spiritual Detectives platform. She done a reaction to my last demonstration with Kenya. So shout out to Spiritual Detective. And if you are a content creator, and if you would like to use any of my content, feel free to use my content. You're not going to have to worry about me striking your channel. Even if you disagree with me, that's fine. Even if you roast me, I got a sense of humor. If it's a good roast, I'm going to laugh with you. So if you would like to do a reaction to any of my demonstrations, feel free. All right. Salute. Make sure everybody pull back up at 6:15 with Miss Parker. I believe Miss Parker is going to do a reaction to this demonstration. I got to give Kenya a thank you because she did not have to come on the platform. So big shout out to Kenya, Roxy's mother. Thank you. Appreciate all of y'all. I'll leave the chat running for a few minutes and y'all can hang around. Salute everybody. Why do you think Keefe D is trying to throw you under the bus by implicating you being in the Tupac's murder?
Well, to be honest, I think it's all the conspirators out there or the conspiracy channels that's out there that's feeding his head. I saw that his son been dealing with this white guy. I don't want to call him assaulting like I want to say, but this guy that got a wig on his hair. I call him Uncle Fester. He got a channel, and they've been pushing that theory and snitch no joke and all of them. They be pushing no theory. So when you start listening to all of them, and the PI that the court appointed them came out with this theory with it being on the case for 3 or 4 days. And then they were like, oh, it was Reggie Wright Jr. We got, but as the DA and everybody told me, say, Reggie, that's just a delayed tactic. They trying to delay the tactic. They got it pushed back a year. And so, hey, well, we care. He's sitting in jail. And so Is this a delay tactic? Maybe they hoping some witnesses change their mind or die or something come up. But if you're innocent, you want a speedy trial. But if you know you're gonna be sitting down for a while anyway, you'll be like, well, it's easier for my people to come and visit me at LA County Jail than it is, or Las Vegas County Jail than it is to whatever penitentiary they send you, because they can send you to anywhere in the state then.